Hey wranglerstar, this is my suggestive review of a pair of Knipex pliers I had mentioned to you in an email. These are Knipex pliers. They're built by Knipex. They're made in Germany, and Knipex patent pending, made in Germany stamped right on them. These have a lifetime guarantee. And you can get these rebranded with Mac tools or Snap-on tools on them, but they're all Knipex, and you pay quite a bit of money if it's got Snap-on or Mac's name on it. These ones are the 10-inch model. They come in larger and smaller models than these. This one goes up to 46 millimeters or 1 3/4 inches for you guys there. So, in my email to you, I had mentioned that these were very much like thumb wrench pliers, cross between vice grips, cross between channel locks. But I think this is one of the few tools that have been invented fairly recently that's worthwhile of putting in a toolbox. It's you can't really recreate or reinvent some things. Some tools are better than others, but this is definitely in my mind one of the keepers. So, how do these work? Well, just like channel locks, these pliers slide back and forth. So you get everything from 0 to 1 3/4 inches in this size, and so they're very quick, very easy to slide. You can put them in any position you want. But also, if you notice, the handles are also involved, so you can do very minute measurements here. So you can fit everything from 1/4 inch to 5/16 to anything you need to do. There's an infinite number of adjustments. Not only that, so this is the first tooth. You get everything from 0 to about 1/4 inch, but if you go down one click, you get everything from about 1/8 to that's not quite 3/8, but it's getting there, and vice versa. You can go full 1 3/4 and kind of everywhere in between. Now these pliers are built pretty tough. And to show you, the bottom piece here, it slides inside this rail. So that means that all force on these teeth are applied to this rail and not applied to the mechanism. Now, if you notice the mechanism, it's about an 8-inch handle, and then it pivots on this adjustable pivot point here, and then there's a little cam in here. So you got about 8 inches to about a 1/2 inch of leverage here to move the teeth, and that's where the vice grip part comes into play. The amount of torque or gripping force that you can put on these is absolutely remarkable, and you won't believe it when you first use them, and then you'll find out that basically as hard as you can pull on this without obviously using a snipe, but as hard as you can pull, these pliers will never let you down, and they're also serviceable. You take this little screw out and the spring, and that's basically the only wearable part there is. And in the 7 or so years I've been using these, I've never had to replace these pivot points, but they are serviceable, and I use these daily in my line of work. This is my pair for home, that's why there's no marks or anything on them, but the ones I use at work I use non-stop. So, how do they work? And if you notice the leverage here, it's on the back handle. And to demonstrate, we'll just slide these open, and you can do this one-handed. I do this all the time at work. You can slide it one-handed, and with your other hand you can have something to turn. This is just a socket, spark plug socket, but as you can see, I can I can put this on here, and then right now my handle that's quite large, so it's hard to grip. But you can just change your position and change your position again. So there's about I've found that quite often when you're up in these sizes or all the way up, you get 2, 3 positions, 4 positions depending on the size to put this, let alone your adjustment here. So when these are fully closed, they're anti-pinch handles, so that's closed. You know you're not going to get pinched in here, and there's lots of room when you are holding something. So by design, these jaws, they move perfectly in parallel with each other. So, and it's only one jaw. This bottom handle here meets up with this top jaw, and that's a fixed position. It's the top handle, bottom jaw that changes. So it moves perfectly, as you can see, unlike channel locks. It moves perfectly parallel, just like a thumb wrench would do. So you can get it onto the object that you're wanting to wrench, and in this position, this top lever that does all the gripping, when you go to pull towards yourself, you actually tighten the grip. And to demonstrate, I'll show you. I'll readjust here. I am just going to place my fingers behind the wrench, and right now it's holding its position. And as hard as I can turn, harder that these jaws grip. So right there, this is all just pressure placed on that handle, and it's holding it into place. As you squeeze, you exert, as I said, the leverage here, you exert a vast amount of energy into the grip, and you will not slip off anything. If you've got rounded edges or worn out bolts that we've all seen, rusted worn out bolts, this will continue to pinch down and grip the harder you pull, and it won't slip off. And it does that even without teeth. This will not mar your fasteners, it will not damage anything. There are no teeth, those are smooth. So to demonstrate, you can also this will demonstrate the parallel forces. I can take a brad nail, and if I put the brad nail there, and I put these pliers on the other side of this wood here, just readjust. Just one more time. To show you that this is a parallel acting force, I put it on the wood there, and I squeeze, and readjust, and squeeze. You'll notice that that nail's going straight in. It's not being cocked off sideways. And actually I did put the nail in slightly on an angle, but I can still squeeze, and it still squeezes the nail into the wood perfectly parallel to the other grips. And that's as far as I can go. It's coming out the back side. So that's how they work. Another demonstration is I've got just your typical galvanized nail here, and if I was to put the pliers on the head of the nail and squeeze as hard as I can, you will notice that the nail has some new flats. You wouldn't do this, but this is just demonstrating the kind of grip that these pliers are able to exert. Again, we've got flat nail. As I said, These are great. These they're ergonomic. They don't hurt your hands. There's another model called the Cobra plier that has teeth on it like vice grips. They're serrated, and there's a bit of a rounded part in them to grip around pipes. And those Cobra pliers work the same way. They don't have the cam, but they have this adjustment here, and you are able to turn pipes. And with these, you're able to turn wrenching surfaces. The other thing I forgot to mention and demonstrate is when you're gripped on a socket. If you release the pressure, let me demonstrate again. If you're to release the pressure, you can ratchet and keep turning. And this is a very fast process. They work great on their own as a plier. They work really well backing up if you're having to break torque and you need to back something up. These work really, really well for that if you're going to use a wrench. I'm able to use these for such a large percentage of my wrenching needs, and then use a wrench or use a socket and ratchet. But these really, once you start using them, you will stop grabbing for thumb wrenches, you'll stop grabbing for channel locks, and in some cases you'll stop grabbing for vice grips. And these really are they're one of the best tools to come along since probably the channel lock came along in the first place. So that's my review. Again, Knipex pliers, and I noticed that you use your tools a lot, and I figured there was nothing better than to give you a tool recommendation to make your life a little easier. Thanks very much. This is Zico Heli Guy, and that's my suggestion.